Well, right now on the program, we want to have a conversation about overall crop nutrition. I know some areas of the Midwest, of course, saw a lot of rainfall and have lost some nitrogen, things like that. So, we want to talk about some tips to manage your way through that, talk about overall crop conditions here at the midway point as we work through the month of July, things like that. So, let's have a good agronomy conversation right now on the program. Joining us now from Nutrien, John Niemeyer, based in Illinois, is with us to talk about some of these issues and more. John, thanks so much for joining us on the program today. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, doing good. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's just start. I think the overall conversation that we could at least kind of hone in on to begin with is that some areas of the Corn Belt, obviously flooding, heavy rain, probably a lot of leaching, nitrogen loss, nutrient loss in general, whereas other portions of the Corn Belt are looking pretty ideal right now throughout the middle portion of July. So, I mean, talk about that and some of your overall thoughts on crop nutrition here at the midway point of the growing season.
Well, I think you have to look at a couple of different things. And number one is what kind of nitrogen have you put on and how was that protected? And when was it applied? If we remember back to March in Illinois here, it was awful dry. It was awful warm. I should say warm and cool, but there was a lot of ammonia went on, a lot of nitrogen went on in late March, and so it's a long time. And for some of those fields that got nitrogen put on in March and didn't get planted until May, you know what? That's been on there a lot longer than normal. And so what kind of nitrogen do you use? Did you put anything with it to hold it? Ammonia, for example, or did you use Nserve? Did you use any kind of? I don't think we're looking at products that lose nitrogen through volatilization, but we're looking at products that would hold leaching in the nitrogen in a form that doesn't leach down through the soil profile. And then we got to look at what kind of rains did you have. We've had some areas where they've had a half inch, 1 inch rain, and not anything above that. But here lately, we've had some 3 and 4 inch rains in a number of places. And by this time in the growing season, and we've had this kind of warm weather that we've had, we probably have a lot of nitrogen that is ready to move from the ammonium state into the nitrate state. And so that is in a form that could leach and it could move down through the soil profile. And, have you kept it there or have you not? And that's something that you have to weigh in with every field you have.
In terms of that, at this point in the growing season, depending on what stage your crop is in, I'm sure, is there anything we should consider for some sort of in-season type applications or additional products, things like that? Or are we kind of too far past that window in many spots, John?
Well, I'm closer to Southern Illinois, and we still have some corn that's probably knee high or a little bit above, where you can actually get across of it yet. There's some taller corn as well that with high boys with something like a Y drop, you could probably put some 28 on. Urea that's treated with something that stops the volatilization. So there are other products that we can still use that be seen that we have out there. Um, in one way, how do you check on that? You could do some deep soil sampling and check where your nitrate's at. You could do some tissue sampling. In fact, I would probably take a look at both and pull out there and say, okay, am I got enough nitrogen? If my corn doesn't look the right color green, I've walked into some corn lately that it's a little lighter color green. And so is it actually nitrogen? Is it sulfur? Or maybe it's just low potash rates that you have out in the field that the soil just isn't going to perform no matter how much nitrogen you put on.
So you bring up a great point about doing a little bit of soil testing or tissue sampling, things like that. I want to talk about that because I think the importance of soil testing is crucial when it comes to your fields, and not just during this growing season, but when you get into fall harvest and getting ready for next year, things like that. You want to figure out, okay, nitrogen levels, phosphorus, sulfur, things like that, et cetera, et cetera. I just think the importance of getting out there and doing adequate soil testing is crucial to the overall health of each and every field, isn't it, John?
It sure is, and it gives you that that roadmap of where you need to go. Are you high? Are you low? Um, the other thing is it's relatively cheap. Something that hasn't gone up the last several years is soil testing, and so the economics of soil testing proves out. It's proved out for 20 years, proved out for 40 years, and it's still proven out today. It takes some extra time, takes some extra money, and but surely gives you an idea of where you need to apply more fertilizer, what kind of fertilizer you need to apply, and maybe how you need to apply it.
Well, I'm thinking about fertilizer and different products that are available. I know there's a lot of different solutions out there for farmers. So maybe talk about that a little bit. There's some different, enhanced efficiency fertilizers that have hit the market in recent years. I know Nutrients got a lot of products, of course, things like that. But I mean, there's a lot of different ways to skin the cat, so to speak, nowadays. There's the traditional ways, but there's a lot of great new products out there too, right, John?
It sure is. It's a lot different than from when I first started in the business, where you didn't have a lot and you had basic. We had a few EEFs as you call them today, but with and then now we've got polymer products like I work with on ESN, Smart Nutrition MST, where we have the sulfur. Mosaic's got several of those type of products that are very good as well. Um, and then we have also more additives that we can add back in that's been improved. Things in the for volatilization, also things that instinct, Nserve, things like that have been very well proven. And then now we've got the biologicals that have come out and are showing some improvement in some of those, and to me, they're going to get better as time goes and as we see. And they certainly have a lot of smart people working on them, and they're going to continue to grow in the marketplace that we see today. I think the other
John,
thing,
yeah,
the
go
the
ahead.
other
Sorry.
thing we have is the other thing we have right now is also a lot more. I'm sorry, can I come back on that? The other
Yeah.
thing we have today is a lot of nutrients we can put over the top, and being able to put say a little bit of nitrogen on now or a little bit of boron to enhance that crop when we talk about tissue testing, and they pull it back out, and we're short on one or another nutrient, then we can add that in, and it's getting through the leaves at a pretty significant rate, and then also we know a lot more now when to apply it. It doesn't need to be applied in a broadcast rate across the field early in the season. We can pinpoint pretty much when the plant needs that product and that nutrient, and when to put it on.
John, great thoughts and insights as we kind of wrap it up here today. Final thoughts you'd want to share with producers, things you'd want to reiterate to them or remind them as they're managing their crop here through this growing season and even thinking about preparing for the 25 crop. What would you tell folks, John?
I think anything you pull now, as far as samples or IDs or notes in what you have in the field, what you're seeing, take pictures. There's some standard tests that we can run out in the field now with different electronic products. Is note that and then put that in some time of arrangement that you keep for next year, and then pull it back up and go, oh yeah, sometimes we forget that kind of stuff. Number of fields that farmers have to go across nowadays is a lot to remember, and you have a number of different people looking at fields, and so to keep those kind of records are pay for themselves, and if you have those and you can sit in the wintertime and go through those, you can better manage that field going forward.
Well, we appreciate the time. With that, John Niemeyer from Nutrien, thanks for joining us here today on the program. We'll look forward to having a conversation with you again in the future. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to the Market Talk YouTube channel. You can watch our latest interviews with top market analysts in the country, find bonus content, and much more. It's easy. Just go to youtube.com/@MarketTalkAg and hit the subscribe button. Or you can search for Market Talk Ag on YouTube.